Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to my channel update for September 2016. This is also as of early this month, was the 2-year anniversary of my channel. As such, I'm going to be going ahead and taking a look at the history of my channel thus far. And at the end, I will put my usual channel update. So, I am sitting just above about 650 or so subscribers. Right as of this recording, I am looking for my next goal of about 1,000 coming up, not immediately, but within some months' time, and I'm very much looking forward to that. For those of you who don't know or who just joined me, my channel covers all sorts of role-playing games, whether it be tabletop, whether it be classic computer role-playing games, the whole works. I've got a new intro video and everything for it. As far as the history of my channel goes, I know some of you have been following me since the very beginning, and I really appreciate those of you who are, and those of you who have. I didn't start out with a whole lot of viewers. Basically, a couple people from IRC agreed to subscribe to my channel. I have not done a whole lot of spreading the word, so to say. So the fact that I have this many subscribers as of this point is an accomplishment in and of itself, simply because I've been pretty lazy when it's come to actually, getting the word out about my channel. So I love the fact that people have stumbled upon my channel and discovered that they like the content enough to follow me. A little bit of history. A couple years ago, I've been a big YouTube viewer for many a year, for at least since 2010. Not from the very beginning, of course, but after it'd been out for a few years. And I spent about 2 years just watching, the big and mid-sized YouTube stars at the time that I really just enjoyed watching. A good mix from the really big names that you'd expect, like Markiplier and such, to the mid-sized and smaller ones. Some Ordinary Gamers is another channel I view a whole hell of a lot. A bunch of horror channels, or a bunch of creepypasta channels, the Creepypasta, that group, King Spook, Scare Theater. I love watching those videos, and all the way down to not down to, but It Me JP, back when he was doing the role play pretty regularly, back in season 1 of that, and Koibu's channel and so forth. I loved watching all of these channels. I was spending quite a bit of time because at the time, I was doing pretty much what I do now, which is basically managing property and writing and doing some freelance programming and writing. But I had a lot of spare time at the time, a lot more spare time then than I do now, which is odd because I'm actually, making videos now. But anyway, and it took me quite some time before I realized, why don't I try my hand at putting some videos up? Because on average, I'm at least 10 years older than most of the YouTubers that I watch. I do watch a few that are older than I am. The Nerdarchy group, I believe, are older, and I know Boogie2998 or whatever. I forget his exact channel name. I know he's a little bit older than I am. But at the time, I was about approximately 10 years older than the YouTubers that I was watching. And so I was hesitant to actually, start off the whole YouTube thing. But eventually I just said, fuck it. I'm going to make some videos. I didn't have a lot of videos to make. So at the very beginning, what I was going to do was spend a lot of time streaming on Twitch, a lot of my free time streaming on Twitch, and then use YouTube as kind of my backup, where I would upload videos. And as a result, you've got, I believe, I made the channel a couple months before I actually got into that, because I was expecting to have more free time than I actually did, and that's always the case with me. And so I made the channel, and then it took me almost 2 months to even start streaming anything. I did a couple test streams regarding the old classic Dungeon Hack. If you've ever played that, it's kind of like a roguelike Eye of the Beholder game. You're basically crawling around a dungeon using Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition rules. And it's a damn good game, but it's one that I haven't made a lot of progress on. But that ended up being among my first streams. Shortly thereafter, I started doing a regular stream of The Elder Scrolls Arena on Twitch and then transferring it over to my channel, which you'll see a lot of those unedited blocks in my Elder Scrolls Arena Let's Play. At the time, I was also doing the Legend of Grimrock series. But a problem cropped up. A couple problems cropped up very swiftly after that. First of all, my schedule was terrible, so I couldn't set a regular streaming schedule up. And number two, I had a lot of hardware failures at the time. Mostly because I'm using a relatively old computer. I mean, I'm using the same computer now than I did then. But a lot of the secondary stuff that I had was incredibly old. I was working with like a 5-year-old webcam. I was working with a very basic headset and mic setup that I paid like $5 at Walmart like years and years and years ago. But I made do with it, and the problem really ended up being was I didn't have time to set a schedule where I could stream at the same time every day, and that's pretty critical to getting viewers on Twitch. And it's a situation which has not really improved much at all over the last 2 years. So it quickly became clear that I would be better served, instead of simply streaming and then putting up to YouTube, to start making content simply for YouTube. And this is where I switched from a live stream Let's Play kind of thing to a edited Let's Play. This is also about the time that I had a major hard drive failure and lost all my progress in the Grimrock series. So I ended up actually I've still got a lot of those videos up. I just set them as private because I'm never going to be able to finish that particular Let's Play without restarting over. Fortunately, I had finished my Elder Scrolls Arena Let's Play by then, and I was looking at starting Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition. That's when I really started getting into the Infinity Engine games. That's also about the time where I was looking to produce something that was simply, I was looking for special things to do simply for YouTube, and that's when I picked up, or when I started doing the Indie Game Friday. Now, Season 1 of Indie Game Friday was basically me playing the game for between half an hour and an hour, and then giving my first impressions of it. It's a format which has kind of stuck with me in my Indie Quick series, which I need to do several of. I haven't done an Indie Quick in a long time. But at the time, it was my best option for Indie Game Friday. Over time, this takes me into like my first year on YouTube. I wanted to do more tabletop gaming stuff. And so I had actually arranged, on 3 different occasions, I had arranged a group of people I knew online to run a D&D session over the internet, and 3 times that fell through. I even have a trailer for one of the campaigns I was going to do, and I ended up not using. I've left that trailer up for historical purposes on my channel. It's called Merc Dusk or whatever. I don't even have the notes for it anymore. But 3 times I tried to put together, 3 times it fell through, and finally I was just completely demoralized over getting any pen and paper content up on my channel. So I spent damn near a year after that, and this is taking me well into, my second year at this point, just not doing any tabletop content. And it wasn't until early this spring of 2016 that I really started to be able to look at some tabletop content. And that's when I started adding the tabletops and taverns. I think I actually did my first tabletop content at the end of 2015, where I put together that top 10 books that I knew at the time, and I need to revise that list and or make another list. But that's when I started getting into the tabletop, and I still don't have the tabletop content up to the place where I would like it, because it takes so much more time to do tabletop. I mean, it takes a lot of time to do Let's Plays, as evidenced by the fact that I haven't been able to meet my quota for the last few weeks. But it takes more time to script and edit together even a basic vlog on tabletop gaming, for me at least, because I like to be thorough and I like to be deliberative in what I say. So it does take me a little bit to research that and put that together. So that brings me to nearly current. Over the years, I've added a new web camera. I picked up a used Logitech, I believe C910. I think that's what I'm using. And I picked up a new microphone, not recently. This is like a year and a half or more ago now. I picked up the Blue Yeti microphone, and that it was way over what I should have spent on this channel, because I'm still not making a whole hell of a lot on it, because I've got limited viewership and so forth. But it was worth it to me as my hobby to spend money on it, and I actually got it refurbished from Amazon, and it has served me well ever since. So that brings me pretty much to current day. I've been putting out a lot more tabletop content. I've got a lot more stuff planned than I actually have time to do. During that entire time, those of you who may be viewing me, my older videos, may have noticed the change in the background over time. That's when I moved from my living room to a separate office. And even now, I'm trying to put together a set in another room where I can do more different types of videos. So, this brings me to my current point, where I'm doing a couple Let's Plays. I need to pick up on the content on that. And I'm doing regular RPG news roundups, which is something I added and people seem to like. The regular reviews that I'm putting up on my Indie Game Fridays, which I switched it to a first impression review kind of thing rather than just a gameplay kind of video. And I'm still working on the process of doing long form reviews of books and games. And which brings me to my plans for the future. If people are wondering why I didn't put many videos up this week, it wasn't because of any kind of massive scheduling issue like it has been for the past 2 months. No, it was simply the fact that I've got a couple reviews I want to do, including Storm King's Thunder, and I was reading them. Because I want to do them more in depth than I have, and with what limited time I have to attend to my YouTube channel, I decided my time was better spent reviewing or reading the books that I'm about to review. So you should be seeing a couple book reviews, a couple product reviews coming down the pipeline very shortly. I know I've said this a bunch of times, but I've got 3 reviews coming down the pipeline. They should be. It's probably going to take me a day or two to script and film each one. And I've got a couple more RPG story time things coming down the pipeline. I've got a couple options for my next Tabletops and Taverns coming down the pipeline, and I've got 2 ongoing Let's Plays that I need to actually break down and do. Going forward towards September, because going forward through September and into October, because I always set my channel goals during these channel updates, just to let you know where I'm doing. My goal for the upcoming month is relatively modest. I want to get my content schedule back on track. I've really dropped the ball. I dropped it so hard that it's unbelievable over the past 2 months. And just when I thought things were getting better, getting back together this week, I kind of slacked off because I was, reading my content. I want to get to where I'm spending as much on this channel in terms of time as I would if it was a full-time job, and I'm not anywhere close to that in terms of earnings. But I figure if I can spend the time and really up my game on what I offer you the viewers, then maybe someday, and it's getting harder to do this on YouTube now than it ever has been in the past, but maybe someday I can use this as my primary form of income. And that is my dream, is to basically use either use a YouTube channel as my primary form of income. But it's got a long way to go. I would be happy even just meeting my goal of 1,000 viewers. I've already got more viewers than I had ever dreamed that I would put together on this channel. And I know that sounds kind of dippy for me saying that. I've only got like about 660 subscribers at the moment, but no, that's a lot more people than I ever thought would be interested in watching a fat old man like me play computer games and run D&D. And that just, it boggles my mind that people enjoy watching me and enjoy what I have to say. So yeah, my basic goal going forward is to start spending as much time on this channel as I would if it were a full-time job. And one of the things that's going to help motivate me do that is that I've talked about putting together a Patreon in the past. And it has been suggested to me a couple times by both viewers and friends that I start really thinking about it. And originally I had set my goal that I would do it when I hit 1,000 subscribers. But I'm thinking I might start a little bit before that. Now, generally speaking, Patreons, you only get like... The reason I say wait for 1,000 subscribers a lot of times is because you, generally speaking, only get one patron per, like, whatever 1,000 viewers. I think it works out to one patron per 800 to 1,000 viewers or something. That actually gives them money. And so for it to be even worth it to get anybody to contribute on Patreon, I've had to build my viewer base, and I don't have any experience doing that besides just putting out what content I can and hoping that somebody finds it interesting, and that's worked for me thus far. But the reason I bring this up is not to go ahead and pimp out my Patreon thing, because I haven't had it actually set it up yet. The reason I bring this up is because I want to know what kind of a format, my viewers who might be who would consider donating on a Patreon account balance, what kind of a format would you like to see on that? Because there are several ways to go. You can do a monthly, you can do a per creation, and if I did that, I would probably focus on like major reviews or like my Tabletops and Taverns series or whatever ended up being popular. And I think that would be the best way to go. One of those, one of those two is going to be like the obvious way to go. What would you like to see in terms of when I put that Patreon together? Furthermore, what kinds of reward tiers would you like to see? I'm taking a look at how some other major RPG some major RPG channels. I'm not going to say other on that because I'm not amongst them. I'm looking at how some major RPG channels put together their Patreons, and they have a lot of options, for award tiers and such. But they're them, and I'm me. So, what do you, my viewers, want to see in terms of reward tiers? Go ahead and leave me comments both on this and on the Patreon format that you'd like to see. because I'm starting to really take a look at this, and I really kind of need the input so I know what kind of thing I need to develop towards on that. In terms of the general channel, I've already told you what I'm going to be focusing on in the next month, which is getting back to my schedule, such as it is. But in terms of my channel, am I striking the right balance between computer role-playing games and tabletop role-playing games? Would you like to see more tabletop stuff? Would you like to see more reviews? Of course, I've got several reviews coming down the pipeline as we speak, but would you like to see me start doing way more of them? What would you like to see in terms of that mix? I'm going to continue. I'm going to step up my game on my Let's Plays, and those are always going to be solid content on here. I'm always going to do the Indie Game Friday stuff. I may lay off Season 2 pretty soon and coast through to Season 3 on the next year, depending on how things go. But I'm always going to have some sort of indie game presence on here, and I'm doing okay with the RPG News Roundup so far, so I'm going to keep that up as well, because those are a once-a-week thing. But in terms of the rest of the content, what would you like to see? Leave me feedback. Leave me feedback. I thrive on the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. Just let me know how you would like to see this channel develop, and while I may not follow it exactly, it is going to give me a starting point to see where my aim should be. Also, if you've got any experience doing, advising in terms of social media development and such, go ahead and shoot me a message or something, because I have very little experience with it. I've got a plan together, but I haven't had time to execute it, and it would be interesting to see other people's feedback on it. Anyway, I've been rambling for a while. I've been rambling for damn over 20 minutes. I will put together another video, tomorrow, and this is the immediate thing. And the only reason I'm mentioning this is because I haven't done a lot of videos this week. Tomorrow I will be putting together another Heroes of the Mist episode. I've released one of them. I've got 3 more left in that particular session. We've got our next session for that planned already, by the way. It's going to be next week, so I'm good to go on that. It's not going to be another multi-month thing on that. And I will try to get another Let's Play thing out tomorrow, and then the review of the Storm King's Thunder should be up. I want to say over the weekend, but don't hold me to it. And then after that, you should see 5th edition Foes coming up very shortly after that, and then more to come over time. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up here. This has been the RPG Crawler. I really appreciate every view that you guys have been giving. I'm overwhelmed by the amount of people who are genuinely interested in my channel and genuinely want me to see me do well, because I get a lot of that. I get a lot of, you need more viewers, and I'm like, yeah, I would love more viewers. But I am very, very happy to have brought some entertainment and some insight to those who watch me. And this has turned this what was basically an on-the-fly jump into a hobby that looked like it might be fun into something that I have kept up, not as regularly as I would have liked, but kept up for 2 years now. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, if you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment if you've got feedback, and I know I've given a lot of requests for feedback in this particular video, and subscribe for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.